Hi there and welcome to this video. In this video I will take you through how easy it is to manage products and catalogs within Sitecore OrderCloud. So first of all I will explain you a little bit on what is exactly the structure, how are the concepts working together within OrderCloud, so that you have a full understanding of the value that OrderCloud brings when it comes to catalog and product management. Alright, so first I will take you through a little bit of a diagram. So let's say I have a fashion marketplace, right, where I'm selling fashion goods, right? So in this case I have a product, which is Nike Metcon shoes, right? Those are sport gym shoes, right? And that in itself is a product, right? So a product in OrderCloud is not something that you create within a catalog, right? But rather as a standalone entity, all right? So so you create the product, right? That can be a single SKU that you have within your marketplace, and then we have something called a price schedule, right? In a second, I will come back on why we have two pricing schedules here. But what you need to understand of a pricing schedule is that you can use that. It's a separate entity that you can assign to a product, and that price schedule will then have the price itself. All right. And then we can also have specs that we can assign to a product, and the spec can be, for example, the size of the shoe, right? And so then within that spec, we can then have spec options that allow you to select the type of the spec that you want for that particular product, right? So in this example, we have a shoe, and on that shoe we want to order that for a specific size, right? So for example, I want men's size 11, right? So when I am adding that product to my cart, I can select that particular spec option. And I can add it into my cart with that spec option selected. I can also add a markup as well, right? So we have the price schedule, which is in this particular case is $175. But let's say I'm charging extra for size 11, and then I can, for example, add a markup of $10, right? So when I'm adding that product with that particular spec option, I can add a markup of $10, right? Which totals, which will show the line item as $185 in the cart itself. Similar, for example, for color, right? That can be another spec, right? So you can have one or more specs on a product assigned. No problem there. All right. So then let's say here we can. Again, product is a standalone entity, like I said, right? So it's not something that that you create within a certain catalog, right? So it's that this in other e-commerce platforms you create that product within the catalog, and if you have multiple catalogs, you need to create that item that product multiple times. But within OrderCloud, here we can create a separate catalog, right? So let's, for example, create a new catalog in a buyer. All right. So, for example, we have the consumer catalog over here, and then let's say we have the so for now, I'll so for example, yeah, we can have a employee catalog, right? So for staff, for example. Okay. So so we have two catalogs that we can have, and then we can subsequently also have assign that product to the catalog. All right, so I'm gonna assign it here, right? So this assigned. All right, so we assign that product to the employee catalog, right? So if we are browsing the employee catalog, right, we will be able to find this product. But in this case, if I'm looking in the consumer catalog, right, I will not yet be able to find this catalog. Sorry, this product in that catalog. What we can also do is we can, within that catalog, right, we can also create a category. Okay. So in this case, I can say category sports goods. All right, and then we can assign the product to the catalog. All right, so that way, so instead of directly assigning the product to the catalog, we can also assign it to the category. So then you can group your items within your products within the different categories. Within categories, you can also have a hierarchy, right? So you can also have parent categories, child categories, as many levels as you may need within your catalog. All right. Now, so then we have a user. All right. So we have a user. Let me expand this buyer a little bit. Okay, so we have a user which I am calling. I'm calling this user John. Okay, so John is a consumer, right? And he is in the registered in the buyer, right? And we assigned John to the consumer user group. All right, so he is member of the consumers user group, and that consumers user group is assigned the consumer catalog. Right, so anyone that is registered within our public website is automatically assigned the consumers catalog. Right, and therefore they can the consumers user group, and therefore can only access the consumer catalog. But let's say I have another user. All right, so I have another user. I'm calling him Peter. But he is actually an employee, right? So he's working within our company, and therefore he can access the employee catalog, right? Now, because of that, we can assign the pricing schedules by the respective user groups, right? So Peter, right, he will see exactly the same product, which is the Nike Metcon shoes, right? But he will see a price of $175, whereas John is browsing on the consumer's marketplace and will therefore see the price schedule of $195, right? So this way we can do personalized pricing that is tailored to the user that is browsing your marketplace. Right, so this makes the way that you can manage products within OrderCloud very powerful, very flexible. Right. First of all, because we are actually assigning the product to a catalog or a category, right, rather than you create it within the catalog. So that makes your product reusable, and you can share it across multiple marketplaces as well. And also because you can do tailored pricing based on the user group that is browsing your marketplace. Now there's also another concept within pricing schedules, right? So which we call price breaks. Okay, so within a price schedule, we can also set a price break that if we buy one unit. Right, if we buy one unit, it will be $195. Sorry. right? But if we buy, wait, but if we buy, for example, let's say 1 second, we will buy, let's say 1 to 3 units, it's 195. But if we buy, let's say 4 to 8 units, it will be 180 per item, right? So then in that case, right, we can automatically apply a different pricing based on the number of units that you are ordering. So this will be mostly helpful if you want to apply bulk discounts on your products. All right, so let's dive into it, right? So I have my fashion marketplace over here, right? This is a sandbox that I created for free on ordercloud.io, and over here I have a buyer, right? Here you can see it, okay? And because I created my buyer, it also automatically created a catalog with the default catalog ID, right? So in this case, for this example, I'm just gonna have one single catalog, right? And over here, you can see my catalog, right? So this is the catalog's endpoint. You can see my catalog here, okay? And let me check if I also created a user in my fashion store. I have, right? So I have an anonymous user here, which has the shopper role assigned, right? So that means that they can at least browse the public catalog that we assign to that particular catalog, right? So to that particular buyer. All right. So so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new product. All right, so so I'm gonna switch to the products endpoint, create a product, all right, and I'm gonna say Nike Metcon shoes. All right, so I'm gonna say active Nike Metcon shoes, and I'm gonna skip these ones for now, and I'm gonna say send. All right. Now. If we, I'm just gonna go to batch because I also want to show something. So you will also see here extended properties, right? So it is very powerful that you can actually customize your data model of your product within OrderCloud, right? So if you want to add extra properties, for example, the country of origin, if you want to manage what your images that you have on that for that particular product. Hey, you want to add things like a description or links to a review, for example, right? So those are custom properties that you may want to add to your products, right? And that you can do within your extended properties, right? So that corresponds with the XP object that you see here. All right, so right now I didn't give any yet, but I can say over here, for example, I can add in images, and I can add an array, for example, and then over here I can add a string, hello world.png. all right, then I can preview what am I gonna patch into my product over here, right? I'm gonna send that, and then you will see that my product is now updated with the array that I just added to my XP object, right? So this is a very powerful powerful way of changing your data model, and this is something that you can easily extend yourself. All right. So now I created this product. All right. So if I'm gonna go to the get products, right, we will be able to see my product. All right. But it doesn't mean that it will be available on my live website. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna switch. Alright, so now I impersonated my Anon user, right, that I showed earlier in my bio. So I wanna preview how does my product catalog look like for a public visitor. So if I go to the /products endpoint, right, you will see that I get an error. Okay, so because I'm not allowed to read this, right, because this particular endpoint is meant for more administrators or managers of the products, the product catalogs, right, within OrderCloud. And a shopper, right, is expected to use my products, right, so that will allow users with the shopper role to view the public product catalog. All right, so all the products that are assigned to that particular user with that set of roles or user groups combined. So you can see it's empty, right? So it's not reflecting the product that I just created, right? So right now it's expected. And the reason for that is that this product was not assigned yet to a catalog, right? So let's do that now. So I'm gonna take my product ID again, and I'm gonna assign that first of all to a catalog. Alright, so so I'm gonna say create. So I'm gonna go to catalogs, and then I'm gonna first of all I'm gonna list my catalogs, right? So we see here fashion store. Alright, so I'm gonna go to create or update a catalog assignment, right? So then we're gonna do fashion store and my product ID. Right, so it gives a 204 status code, so that means that it's success. So if we now try it again, right, we can see our product appearing, right? So this access is controlled by the catalogs, right? So, and because that particular catalog was assigned to the buyer, we were able to access that, right? So let me, for example, let me also show how we actually can create a new catalog and then assign that to the buyer, right? So I'm gonna undo my changes. So I'm gonna remove my product assignment. Fashion store, and then remove that. All right. So then I'm gonna create a new catalog. And I'm gonna say employees. All right, employees catalog. All right, and I'm gonna assign my. I'm gonna create a new. Employees. Alright, so now I assign my product to the catalog, right? So we will still not be able to see my product here. And the reason for that is that we didn't assign that catalog yet to the buyer, okay? So right now it's just a standalone catalog, okay? So what we can do is we can go to the buyer. Hang on, sorry, it should be from here. Yeah, so over here we can actually add the catalog ID and then fashion store. All right, we can decide whether all catalogs, all categories can be viewed and all products can be viewed. So the reason you may or may not want this is that within this assignment you can also explicitly assign categories to that particular buyer, Right? So if you, for example, want to selectively assign the categories to that particular buyer, you can also choose so. But in this case, I'm just going to show all the categories. All right, so now I saved my catalog assignment, and now if you go back, we still cannot see it. Hang on now. So I'm gonna go back and check my product assignments I have here, and I'm gonna check my catalog assignments over here. And oh yeah, so maybe it took a second to load, so I didn't change anything. And so there now we are able to see our product again. All right. So so now I'm gonna also assign a pricing as well. So because we didn't do that as of yet. So now I'm gonna create a new price schedule. All right. So I'm gonna say Nike. I'm gonna also use the same ID as the product ID. Pricing. And I'm gonna for now I'm gonna skip the min quantity and max quantity. Right, I can set the currency. Right, so for each currency you can create a separate price schedule accordingly. And I'm going to add a price break. Right, so this is what I mentioned earlier. So you can have price breaks where based on the quantity you have different pricing. So I'm going to say 1. All right, and then I'm gonna say, let's say, I'm gonna say 198, for example. I can also set a sale price as well, and then you can also specify what are my sales start date as well. All right, so I'm gonna add that, and now it's added, and now I still need to assign my price schedule to the product. Right, so I'm going to go back to the product and then create a product assignment. All right, so now my product ID and then my price schedule ID and then the buyer ID, which is the fashion store. All right. As you can see, I can also specify the user group as well. So this is what the scenario that I explained earlier, right? So if you have different users that you want to show different pricing, then based on the user group, it will select the appropriate price schedule, right? So that is what you can control with the user group ID. All right, so now it's assigned. So now we should be able to see on the product the price schedule. Yeah, so now you can see that my price schedule is now showing here, and with price 198, and so this is what will be what you can show to your user to display the pricing of this particular product, right? And also, if I would add this product to my cart, it will use that to calculate the totals and the line item total. All right, so this was a brief overview of how you can create products, catalogs, categories within your marketplace. So hopefully this was of value, and yeah, do let me know if you want any more information. Thank you for watching.